This stuff just keeps circling around, man. And I think this is one rogue person in Mike Tannenbaum that's got on this idea that he's going to keep bringing up about the Browns getting out from Deshaun Watson. And he lit a bunch of stuff up last week saying they should trade him away for Daniel Jones. I think that's just Tannenbaum. But the question is, for a Browns fan base, for us that are here that root for this team, what do you want him to do with Deshaun Watson? Where are you at with Deshaun Watson? With this contract? With the future? With what you saw with this team? The ultimate question is out there. Are you trying to get out of it? If you were a fan base, if Andrew Berry called you into his office and he said, what would you do to the Deshaun Watson contract? You want to see this thing through? You want to get him on the field, or are you starting to explore some other options? As crazy as those options are, you've got an opinion on it. You're sitting there, you have an opinion. As soon as I said that, something resonated with you. And you said, shut the hell up, I'm keeping him here. Or, yeah, well, I'm thinking about it. It's like that gift with the kombucha lady where she's like, yeah, well, no. Are you thinking about it at all when it comes to Deshaun Watson? We got that. We got All-Star Weekend. I got to rip into some people this morning. What the hell did you think was going to happen in the All-Star game? LeBron speaking on his future, Ryan. I've got some bad news for you come about 9:30 this morning when it comes to LeBron James. We got the morning update. We got a jam-packed time up. We got it all for you on a President's Day edition right here on Big Play. Welcome to the show, everybody. I am Matt Fontana. He is Ryan Tyler. Good morning. Happy Monday. If you're off work, even better. We're not. We're here. Have you ever been the president of anything? Right.
Does
a fan club?
Does fantasy football commissioner count?
I see. Okay, I'm a commissioner. I was the general manager of my college radio station, but I wasn't the president.
If that doesn't count, then no.
I know people that are like presidents on boards that they sit on. I always think that's such like a fancy thing. It's like, oh yes, yes, I'm on a board. I'm on the advisory board. I am the president. You can be president of the PTA. You could be president of, I guess if you wanted to change the title, you could say you're a fantasy football president if you want. The trivia will get right out of the way. Do you know the state that has had the most presidents?
It's got to be Ohio.
It is Ohio. 8. And that goes back to a way prior time. But 8 presidents coming from the state of Ohio. So enjoy your President's Day if you've got it off. Certainly with you, take you up to 11 o'clock today. And we still got a busy day here on Big Play. We got all our shows coming up a little bit later today. Mike Tannenbaum is just going to ride this thing into the ground. So last week, when we played the clip that he was on, I think, Get Up, and he shot out this idea of the Browns trying to get out of the Deshaun Watson contract. And he had a bit of a crazy trade, which, again, people didn't understand last week, that he had the Browns sending the Giants a second-round pick with Deshaun Watson for Daniel Jones. And we discussed it last week. And we said that trade, it doesn't make a lot of sense to us, right? And the logistics of getting through all that, I thought it was. So he was on Unsportsmanlike this morning. Shout out to Evan Smallman and Chris Gann. They did a great job. I enjoy listening to them very much. And they had Mike Tannenbaum on again this morning to kind of re-describe his thoughts on that deal. So I want to play the clip before we get into it, because frankly, I think Tannenbaum, he gives a little more detail about how his mind is working on this. And again, say what you want about Mike Tannenbaum. He is a former NFL general manager. There's one more reason he's not in the NFL anymore. But he's got this idea. So I want to play this from this morning, courtesy ESPN on Sportsmanlike, their morning show. This is Mike Tannenbaum continuing the discussion that he created about the Browns. I want to say the Browns interested in moving Deshaun Watson. Here's Mike Tannenbaum's idea about moving Deshaun Watson, courtesy of ESPN.
On Friday, why you suggested what you did and what happened as a result?
Yeah, logic carried the day. So
logic.
So look, Deshaun Watson, for whatever reason, right, wrong, or indifferent, has not worked out in Cleveland. Mm-hmm. So if you could get out from roughly $138 million if you're the Cleveland Browns, played 4 different quarterbacks last year. You have a really good young quarterback in Dorian Thompson-Robinson. You have a vet in Joe Flacco. If you could get all that cap flexibility and acquire Daniel Jones, who's 27, only he's going to make $36 million one year left, that's a really good move if you're the Cleveland Browns. The inverse of that is if you're the New York Giants, you want to get a high ceiling quarterback. Deshaun Watson at one point was a great quarterback. He's only 29, and it's a 3-year marriage. So it's a win-win. And, shockingly, on social media, everybody agreed.
So of course, people on social media are going to light it up. Oh, yeah, of course. And it got me thinking about Browns fans and where you're at with Deshaun Watson. I want to post this as our Twitter question this morning. We'll do it at Matt Fontana Show. We're going to work through this, Ryan. You are the master of the Twitter. You're the president of our Twitter. There, I gave you the title. You're our president. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're an engineer on this show, and you're the president of our Twitter. So just racking it up. Where are you at with Deshaun Watson? And if you want to put and his contract, I'll leave it up to you. And the answers are, A, I'm all in. This stuff is crazy. This is not even remotely possible. I'm all in on Deshaun Watson getting healthy, coming back, and playing for the Cleveland Browns. It's option A. Option B, I'm confident on Watson, but I can't say I'm all the way there. I think he's going to be the guy. Maybe you put it that. I think he's going to be the guy. And I have the belief that what he did in Houston, he's been injured here. He hasn't played all that much. I feel like there's a greener pasture out there, but we're not there quite yet. Option C, I'm starting to think about moving on. I'm starting to think about what trade options are out there. What can I do to dump this salary? What can I do to loosen things back up for the Browns? I'm starting to think about a move. That might be the way to put C. I'm thinking about making a move. Or D, he's not the guy. I'm all the way out. Maybe I've always been all the way out. Or what I've seen over this past season of the short time that he did play, the injury factor, the contract. I'm out. I'm out, Jerry. To go back to Seinfeld last week on our favorite episode of all time. I'm out. I'm done. I've been out. I want to post that on our Twitter question this morning. And I'm not trying to rile up all the fans. I just want to know, I really want to get the vibe of where people are at. And there will never be a consensus. I don't even know, Ryan, if there's ever a way to get to a full majority. And I say that to say this, man. Would you not say that the majority, a good chunk, like I'm talking 70% of the fan base, they were in on Joe Flacco. So it's not that hard to get to that. With Watson, I think it's impossible to get there until he plays. The question is, do you feel like this is a lost cause? Do you feel like we could go through all of this, right? And you still maybe are only a second-round playoff team. I don't know. It's the move the Browns made. It's the decision that changed the course of this franchise. And at this point, which is shocking for me to say that 2 years, 2 years into this, and it's not worked out. It has not worked out at all to this point. The question is, are you pulling the ripcord? Are you ready to go? Now, to Tannenbaum's take, I got to disagree with him on one part. And I don't know, can you pull it back up quick? I don't mean to spring that on you.
Yeah, here we go.
Here it is. Mike Tannenbaum this morning on ESPN.
On Friday, why you suggested what you did and what happened as a result.
Yeah, logic carried the day. So,
Logic.
so look, Deshaun Watson, for whatever reason, right, wrong, or indifferent, has not worked out in Cleveland. So
Agree.
if you could get out from roughly $138 million if you're the Cleveland Browns, played 4 different quarterbacks last year. You have a really good young quarterback in Dorian Thompson-Robinson. You have a vet in Joe Flacco.
Stop it right there. You don't have Joe Flacco at the moment. He's under contract for another month.
He's also tripping about DTR.
And that's the exact other point, dude. I'm glad you and I are on the same page. I love Dorian Thompson-Robinson. I'm not walking him out there to start games. The Browns are not a rebuilding team. We are rebuilt. The time to go is now. So if Tannenbaum wants to come from the angle of we need to get out of this Deshaun Watson deal, but go pursue another quarterback or make a move to go bring in, we got crazy Justin Fields or bring in whoever else, right? I'll listen to that. I'm sorry, I don't know if I can listen to just running it back with Joe Flacco and Dorian Thompson-Robinson.
Absolutely not.
Especially, again, I don't see a world that Joe Flacco comes back here.
And even if he did.
Are you going to really recreate that? Exactly. That was some lightning in the bottle there. And you're going to tell me that if he came back for a full season at 38, would you not be 39 by the time the season started? You're going to just do that again. It's not that easy. And I'm with you, like, again, I like DTR. Let's pump the brakes on that. So that's another factor that you don't have that replacement. You are, in a way, stuck with Deshaun Watson. But that's where I want to hear from the fans. I want to know, are you still in? Are you thinking about it? Are you out? Like, the Browns are going to make some moves this offseason. And some of these moves, I think, are going to help us paint the picture on where they stand with Deshaun Watson. Number one, Watson's money. If they restructure again to get back under the salary cap to make some moves, he's here for the long haul. If they don't or do re-sign Joe Flacco, I think that says some things. There's some other factors with Flacco. I think he's going to get money elsewhere. I do believe that he's going to want other opportunities. But if they say we got to bring him back, and especially if they give him a lot of money, then that's your security blanket. So there are some moves, some trickle moves that the Browns are going to do that I'm going to try to ascertain what they feel about Deshaun Watson. And they could come back, and I don't know if there's a right course of action or not, but they could come back and say, we don't have a choice in this matter. With the deal we signed him to, with how we structured this, and with where we're at, our hands are tied. There is nothing money-wise, salary cap-wise, there is nothing we can do. And we have to vote A on our poll this morning that you got to be in and you have the belief that Deshaun Watson is going to get back to the level that you... That's the question we've been asking over and over again, and we're not going to get it answered for another 8 months. But how they feel in the building, I want to see how the fan base feels. I do. Because if you're starting to think about maybe it's time to start poking around a little bit, maybe it's starting to see. Now, the issue is all of those ideas, and even the ones that Tannenbaum has thrown out, they're not easy to do. This is going to be really hard. And this is also something that if it gets leaked, which it will, that the Browns are even entertaining it, then you got problems. Then you have problems. And we could try to have conversations about they got to do what's best for the franchise and every general manager pokes around and all that. But that gets leaked out, we're going to have a lot of problems. We're going to have a lot of questions. There's going to be a lot of scrutiny, not that there isn't already. But that's the thing. I don't even think that they can entertain this without it getting out. So to vote for our Twitter question here, again, as a fan base, where are you at when it comes to Deshaun Watson and his contract? And here are our options. A, I'm all in. B, I think he's the guy, but I'm not sure. C, I need to start poking around in some of this or D him all the way out. And I'm going to go with I think he's the guy. I do. So with that, and if that's how I'm going to vote on it this morning, Ryan, I can't entertain these trade offers. I can't even think about it. If I believe and have hope that he's going to turn out to be the guy, then you shut this Tannenbaum stuff down, you don't pick the phone up for anybody, and you just play this season out. We'll have a much different conversation 1 year from today. When we go back and do time hop on this day next year, it'll be a much different conversation. But I think for how the Browns have operated and how they are really, I think, forced to operate, they have no choice but to play this out and see how it goes. Ryan, cast your vote this morning. Where are you at with Deshaun Watson? Did you start poking around a little bit or no?
I voted B, but I kind of, the more I think about it, I kind of feel like truly I feel C, but that
you'd start poking around a little bit.
But that doesn't mean I'll start poking around, because the reality of it is I don't see a scenario where we get value out of trading Deshaun Watson in terms of getting something better than him possibly right now. Because why would I ever in a million years go get a downgrade in Daniel Jones and throw them a second? Why,
right,
why would you have just to get out of the cap? But that's the problem.
Don't look at it as you're going to get Daniel Jones. It's you're getting out of the Watson.
But it's not like we can go ahead and go get a Mike Evans or somebody and instantly get fixed, right? It's like, why would I do that now when we have to win now? Miles isn't getting any younger. Denzel's not getting any younger. He's one injury away from really have concerns there. Nick Chubb, we don't know his future in health. We're in win now mode, and just going downgrade, it doesn't make any sense, let alone giving them a draft pick, which we're clearly lacking because of this Deshaun Watson deal. It makes no sense to me.
Okay, let me just play devil's advocate for a second. What if you said that we have to rip the Band-Aid off right now, swallow it for this year, for the overall long-term health of the franchise? And what I'm saying is, you got to bite the bullet now. And, if you were really trying to pitch this, you would say, look what we were still able to do with this carousel of quarterbacks.
But even if you bite the bullet,
and then you try to go get a franchise guy next offseason, or you just readdress the quarterback position after this year. I'm just playing devil's advocate on that.
Yeah, no, I get it, but I'm like, even if you bite the bullet now, what does that look like, right?
You eat the money, you eat giving up a draft pick, and you eat Daniel Jones' contract.
But to get what? A potential another quarterback that
Well, you got to go find the other one, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
Who the hell is that guy going to be?
I mean, that's it. I mean,
we made our bed, we have to lay in it.
I kind of agree with you. So the thing is, as Browns fans, we are going to have to hold on to this stuff is going to just keep getting floated out. And it's going to keep getting brought up. And I think Tannenbaum's going to keep riding this. And I don't know if he's just making this. He's in the media now. So his job is to get eyes and to get ears and to get people to okay. And it's easy to rile Browns fans up. It's easy to get us riled up.
Stupid. That was the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
From Tannenbaum last week?
Yeah.
I don't want to say that it's not based in truth. Like, this is unfair of me to say, but I'm going to say it anyway. Did he just make it up, or is he hearing that from somebody? Like, does he have somebody that's still connected in the NFL that floated him this, or is he just going off the rails going, I got an idea. I got something for it. This is what I would do. I mean, is it just a hot take? Is he getting a hot take artist? I don't know. The thing is, I can't unequivocally shut it down, so that's why the problem is that this is where we're at. This is where we're at. Because it'd be stupid if it was anybody else. If it was a quarterback that he played to the level that you expect, you'd be like, this is stupid. I'm not having this conversation.
But then it goes back, Matt, too, because you talk about there's guys, right? You talked about Myles Garrett, Nick Chubb, and then you talked about how Amari Cooper was entering the conversation. You don't ever want to see these guys play for another team, right?
Correct, yeah.
So then what are they going to think when you go through, what, we're going to do a mini rebuild again?
Okay, that's a great point to bring up. Because what's worse? Sitting there not believing that you guys have a future.
We've been a dumpster fire for the last decade.
I know,
I am
as
going
a
to take
player,
every season opportunity I can to get over that hump. And
the
even
thing
if it's
is,
probably not going to work out.
A lot of these guys weren't there for that. A lot of these guys, even some of the veteran guys like Batonio and Njoku and Miles and Denzel and Chubb that went through some of the bad times, sure. But the vast majority of guys were not here for that, and they are professional athletes. So if you sat in a room with them or you went into that locker room, you said, we need to do something to give us the best chance to win. Now, the easy answer would be Deshaun Watson is still the best chance for us to win, for us to go to the playoffs, to go win a championship. And I'm sure a good chunk of those players would agree with you in that statement. But if it ever came a time that they didn't, what you don't want to have is for it to start getting infected in that locker room that they don't believe in the organization anymore. And that's when you see guys, I'm not re-signing here and I'm not coming. Right now, the Browns organization, even after what Joe Flacco had to say about them, you feel like it's run pretty well. And this team is in there believing that they can go win playoff games and get to a Super Bowl. That is all. I would assume a lot of those guys' goals, especially a good chunk that are already paid. A lot of those key players are paid up. So they're not worried about making money anymore. They're worried about going to win. And they're probably having the same question that we're talking about this morning as a fan base. Do you believe that he's the guy, or would you start looking around? Your job as the organization, as the front office, is to be the stewards of the organization, not just us fans, to put all our eggs in the basket, that you trust these people to steer the ship in the right way. They owe the same thing to the players. They owe the same thing to the guys that are on that roster to say, believe in me. I'm driving this right now. You got to believe in the moves that we're going to make, even if they're tough or hard or whatever. But if they're going to come back and just tell, we're all in. And if they don't have a choice on that, then so be it.
Yeah, they don't.
I'm kind of with you. I don't know if they do or don't.
I don't. If you're going to have to go through Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow for the next 5 to 10 years, You have to get your quarterback, your star quarterback. And the odds, there's greater odds that Deshaun Watson comes back and is good than trying to find a hit on a quarterback, which we haven't been able to since we came back to Cleveland.
Right. And that's the other hard part.
We don't even have draft picks.
Well, we will next year. You get him back next year. That's the tough thing. You're going to be you should be in the 20s, right? You're not talking about a top 10 pick, or at least God help us. I hope not. God hope.
Lamar Jackson was 32.
Yeah, I'm just saying. You should. I mean, I think we're getting all. I'm getting too wrapped up in this tandem because you want to know what?
This is a stupid
but
thing to say.
The more I think about it, the more I'm like, okay, wait a minute. The thing is, why would another team bail us out? Because the other point, Tannenbaum's point was the New York Giants would find a guy that. What did he? Can you pull the clip up again? I want to play just one more time.
Here we go.
All right, go.
On Friday, why you suggested what you did and what happened as a result?
Yeah, logic carried the day. So look, Deshaun Watson, for whatever reason, right, wrong, or indifferent, has not worked out in Cleveland.
Yeah, we got
so if you could get out from roughly $138 million if you're the Cleveland Browns.
Do what?
Played 4 different quarterbacks last year. You have a really good young quarterback in Dorian Thompson-Robinson.
Discuss that.
You have a vet in Joe Flacco. And if you could get all that cap flexibility and acquire Daniel Jones, who's 27, only he's going to make $36 million one year left.
Watson,
that's
29.
a really good move if you're the Cleveland Browns. The inverse of that is if you're the New York Giants, you want to get a high-ceiling quarterback. Deshaun Watson at one point was a great quarterback. He's only 29, and it's a 3-year marriage. So it's a win-win.
So why just keep me? Wait, that's exactly what I want to play. Just keep him here then. Just keep him here.
Dumbest thing I've ever heard.
If the ceiling is still there, if you still believe that he can return to form, then why would the Browns jettison on this and cut their? That's the part that I don't understand. That's the part that I'm like, no.
That's fine. The whole point of that deal would be to get that $100+ mil back, right? That cap. But to do what?
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. You'd save. Okay, he said you would save $138 million. Where's he coming that number?
And even
so
if
you
that's
paid
an
him
accurate
$230,
number, that's cool. But
they've restructured. You still got to pay Daniel Jones that money then, or a good chunk of it.
It just doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
Stupid.
And that's the thing. Why would the Giants bail us out? Because they think Deshaun Watson can be. And I know there's teams that have different evaluations on guys, and it is New York, and maybe they need a splash. And trust me, they're sick of Daniel Jones there too. Could be worse off. It could be the Steelers. I didn't want to talk about that later. Bring it up in the morning update. But they're really going to run it back with Mason Rudolph and Kenny Pickett. That's the report that came out over the weekend. And that's good, because I said keep Justin Fields away from them. I don't want him going there. And there's going to be a lot of quarterback moves. I think the gravitational pull will be tough too, because this isn't going to be an offseason per se that you see like in Aaron Rodgers or even when Watson was on the move. You don't have like top tier franchise guys moving, but you're going to have a lot of quarterback change. Probably more than average. Where every year you've got 3-4 teams that are turning over quarterbacks or drafting this guy or that. Right. I mean, there can be a lot of shakeup, and there's going to be a lot of guys that are on the move. Can you put the blinders on and say, we're not even going to entertain that? We're not even going to go over there. We're not even going to think about it. Because the other issue, and I mentioned this earlier, I don't even think you can hedge your bet on this. This isn't something that you can go out, and again, it goes back to Joe Flacco, and re-sign Flacco and go, well, he's here just in case. No. You got to go either all in with Deshaun Watson. You got to go get him another wide receiver. You got to say he's your guy, not sign another quarterback, not entertain these trades, not have any discussions about it, and you move forward on it. I think that's what they have to do. So I want to see where the Browns fans are at. Vote on our Twitter question this morning at Matt Fontana Show. Drop us a follow. We're up on Instagram, Facebook, Twitch on our new venture there, and of course on YouTube, Big Play, and at Matt Fontana Show up on YouTube. Where are you at with Deshaun Watson? A, he's the guy. No question, we're in. B, I'm confident, but I'm not sure. C, I'm going to start poking around for some other deals. Or D, he's not it. He's never going to be it. I want to see where people are at. Because I thought about the other question, right? If you were presented that trade, if you were presented with Daniel Jones, you give up Watson and a 2, would you make that trade? Would you make that deal? Ryan is unequivocally no.
I wouldn't think about it.
I probably wouldn't either. You got to fix Daniel Jones. He's broken too. At least I know there's more with Deshaun Watson. A little more to do. And, I heard Jake Trotter mention this, last week. Shout out to Jake. And he goes, the other thing that a lot of people are forgetting about here, Deshaun Watson is coming off major shoulder surgery on his right shoulder. That's another factor in this. We're not talking about he just had a bad year and you're going to try to get him back into the offense. He's coming off a serious shoulder injury and surgery. For as much as we talk about if we don't know Nick Chubb's going to come back or how that's going to look, you could say the same thing about Deshaun Watson. Browns have more information on that than we do. So I'd hope that you got to ride it out. At this point, I think you got to ride it out. Tannenbaum's going to keep riding this. He's going to keep driving in the dirt because now he's got the clicks, now he's got the likes, and here we are talking a lot about it. We'll see how it goes. All right, let's catch our first break of the morning. When we come back, we got to talk All-Star game last night. I said the under was a lock.
Matt, I didn't watch a single second of it.
I watched.
I'm going to be completely honest.
There's a lot of people upset. There's a lot of people with hot takes on this and hot takes on that. But we also got to talk about LeBron because he spoke on his future at the press conference there for All-Star Weekend. Does he want to do the retirement tour? And I'm sorry, Ryan. I think some of the things that LeBron said, he shuts it down about coming back to Cleveland. All right, Ryan's going to flip that back on me. We'll do that when we return. Stay with us. Fontana Show right here on Big Play. Let's get signed up with Tipico, folks. We were betting this weekend. I had a solid weekend, even though I lost on the under.
Yeah.
We had the boost that didn't hit either. Donovan only scored 7. That's all right.
Volk lost.
And Volkanovski lost. I did hit on another parlay, though, for the UFC this weekend, which was a lot of fun. Folks, that's the best thing about Tipico. You can get up there, get signed up, download the app. I got it right here. Cavs are back in action tomorrow. Here's what you do.
Are they?
Yeah, they're back Tuesday.
I thought it was Thursday.
I thought it was Tuesday. I had Tuesday. Oh, no, Thursday. I'm sorry. You're right. Thursday. I'm sorry. Not Tuesday.
Yeah,
Thursday.
big
So they got an extended break. There you go. Full week off. So we're back on Thursday, so we'll get to our boost. But that's the fun thing. The boost, the flex parlays. We had college basketball getting crazy over the weekend. We'll talk a little Ohio State in the morning update. We'll get to that. Tipico, folks. Use that code Fontana100. And here's the thing. We're realists here on the show. You probably got a lot of sports books that you used. Maybe you used up those bonus bets already. And you're getting geared up for the big tournament coming up. And you're saying, I don't really want to deposit more money. How about $100 in bonus bets? So you go to Tipico, download it, use the code Fontana100, deposit and bet $25 on whatever you want, and you get $100 in bonus bets. Boom, bankrolls back up, ready to go. Ready to get going for the tournament coming up. Use the app. Tipico is where it's at. Fontana100 is the code. Use the credits. Have fun with it. Flex parlays, boosts, and we got our cashback rewards on Tipico, which is why they're the absolute best. Get signed up today. All right, we got NBA. We got LeBron. All-Star game. It's all coming in next. Fontana Show, Monday edition. President's Day right here on Big Play. Back here with Fontana Show on Big Play. Are people really upset about the All-Star game? The fake outrage over this is incredible. And I think it's laughable, to be honest with you. So last night, you had a 211-186, crushed the over in the All-Star game. What did people expect? After what we've seen over the last couple of years, and I'm trying to be respectful to the people that have a problem with it, but what did you think was going to happen? Okay. People, they want to look at this game as it actually means something. Start with number one, it means jack squat nothing. Then number two, those players don't want to be out there. They got to ruin a weekend where everybody else on their team is on a beach and they're in Cabo and they're in Miami and they're relaxing. And these guys got to go to Indiana and go play in this game so the NBA can get a nice fat check from viewership. I don't even know what the ratings were last night. Those guys don't want to be there. And if you want to try to bring up the prestige of playing in another All-Star game, they care about All-Stars, sure, because then you can end your career and say, I was a multi-time All-Star, sure, fine. That is all they care about. There is no part of that game that they care about. And to come back to how they can make them care, well, they started incentivizing this, right? Chris Canny, again, I was listening to on Sportsman like this morning on ESPN. Chris Canny had a great point. That worked back in the day when you had guys that were not multi hundreds of millions of dollar heirs. These guys aren't just millionaires. They're hundreds of millionaires is what they are. What did they get for winning MVP? Do you even know what it was? Do you even know what they, like the monetary amount?
Mm-mm.
How much money do you get for winning NBA All-Star MVP? Okay. Wait. There's no cash award for winning the MVP. This is from, I don't even know. I clicked on this morning. This is some sporting news. Well, this is just who's won the most MVPs. Whatever. There's no point. There is nothing that they can do to make that game mean anything to these players. So they're not going to play defense. They're going to have fun. They're going to throw it off the backboard. They're going to take now that Dame three from, dude, he had a three from half court. Half court. And I mean, he splashed it. It was pretty cool. I don't care. And I don't understand people. What did you think it was going to be? You get geared up to be like, oh, man, we get to see Kevin Durant and LeBron on the floor together. We get to see them go up against Giannis. Those guys don't care. They don't care. They're upset that they got to waste a weekend by being an all-star. It's actually a detriment to them. I thought about this question. Do you think guys would pay money to not go to the all-star game? We talked about them trying to incentivize it for these guys to make money to go to the All-Star game. Would you not flip that around and say that LeBron would probably pay $250,000 to not have to go? Probably. And it doesn't bother me because I don't really care. I really don't look at it that I'm going to watch this game for other than what it is. I want to see Dame pull up from half court. I want to see just some crazy thing. Frankly, I thought it was fine. I watched not the whole game, but some chunks of it here and there. I think All-Star Saturday night is a lot more fun. 3-point competition. The Sabrina Steph thing was a lot of fun. Great. What do you expect? So for people, and I'm going to say, I think it's fake outrage that you don't see defense in regular season games. What makes you think you're going to see defense in the All-Star game? And then I would phrase it this way. And I know you're kind of on my side of this, Ryan, so it's really hard to ask. What do people want in the All-Star game? What do they want to see? You would like to believe that you get to see Kevin Durant going up against Giannis, full go, trying to score a bucket. I got some news for you. They play in the regular season. And that is the more important thing for me. Oh, well, I get to see Kevin Durant, kick the ball back out to Steph, and I get to relive some of that. Okay, well, you saw that then. The people that are, I think they're fake. I do not understand anybody, and I'd love to hear from somebody if they are. I don't know anybody that is truthfully actually angry about the All-Star game. Why would you care? Why does it matter? The NBA does it because they have to. And if they want to change the game like the NFL, because we know the Pro Bowl was atrocious. They got deals online They got to make the money. They got, how many people AT&T was all over it and whoever else sponsored it and all that kind of stuff. Sure, fine. They're going to make their money off it. And I give them credit. They try to give a little piece of that back to the players. It's a wash. What do you expect?
The problem is none of the players cared because it has no effect on, one, their legacy, and then two, how people view them, because you just fall back on it's a team game. Like, you're not going to blame a certain all-star, but if you were, and I don't think they could ever do this because I don't think the players would ever agree to this, but if you had a system where people would love to watch this, right? If you had a King of the Hill one-on-one type thing, because then you're putting players against certain players. Like, imagine that. Like,
that's kind of what we all want to see, right? Because then
they don't want to get exposed,
and
they're the only ones that they can blame for giving up a basket. Like, that would be cool, and that would be really interesting because people always have the debate: who would win one-on-one, LeBron or Michael Jordan? Who would win one-on-one, Shaq or Hakeem? Like, that would be fun to see, but I don't think they could ever do it. But that would be the fix. Or people talk about potentially kind of like how MLB does it, like you give the winner the home court advantage in the finals.
That's stupid. I've always hated that. I've hated that.
I think it's a good idea, but it'd be hard to, because, well, I mean, if it would make the players truly play, then I guess there's no point.
But the problem is, and I'm going to put the Cavs in this situation for just a second, maybe, but I'm going to look more towards, let's say, the Boston Celtics.
Yeah, then I would be pissed.
Why would the Boston Celtics want any part of their future to be in the hands of Jalen Brunson or in the, and I'm not even trying to crap on anybody, but like, who is a low-level all-star?
Scotty Barnes.
Scotty Barnes. Raptors got jack squat nothing going for you right now. Why would you want to put that in that? You're telling me that if it came down to a splash 3 for the Boston Celtics to win home court advantage, and Scott Barnes lines up, he wouldn't go, oh, whoops. Oh, my bad. Can't have that. There's no way. I thought it was stupid when baseball did it. I think basketball, no way. Absolutely not. Now, when you go back to the one-on-one thing, you mentioned, another problem with that? Nobody want to get posterized. Nobody wants to be that real. That's going to go viral. And I think that is in part, conspiracy theory theme. You ready for this? You want to know why they don't play defense? You don't want to be the guy that got posterized in an all-star game. Yeah, no. Do you really want to be the guy that Giannis or what? Did you know Luka can barely dunk? Did you see? Oh, you didn't watch the game. Luka, for as tall as he is, he's like Kevin Love, man. He can't really dunk. It's not. He says people he doesn't. I don't think he really can. Do you really want to be the guy that goes down getting posterized in an all-star game? You don't want that. Not in today's social media. So nobody gives a damn. And the brotherhood and the camaraderie there, do you really want to trip up Jalen Brunson and twist his ankle? You really want to go and body up Kevin Durant and hurt his knee? You don't want that. Nobody wants to see that. So you're going to see the joke that it is. It doesn't bother me. Who cares? I will tell you this, Ryan. For a good chunk of that game, it looked no different. I go work out at the Lakewood YMCA every Sunday with my son. I take him to childcare. I take him to the pool. It's a great Sunday. We always walk past the basketball courts. And he likes watching. And there's always games going on. That's what the All-Star game looked like. A pickup game at the Lakewood Y. Guys are throwing full court passes. They're cherry picking their ass off, and they're just trying to go up for dunks or crazy shot. That's it. There's nothing wrong with that. Now the difference is these are the best basketball players in the world. I want to see Dame pull up from half court and splash it. That was fun. Other than that, nobody really cares. Nobody really cares. So the fake outrage this morning over the All-Star game is actually pretty incredible. I think it's pretty interesting because I do not, for the life of me, understand why people would be angry about a game that doesn't matter, that the fans don't care. Or I'm sorry, the players don't care. Here's my piece of advice. Just let it go. Let it go. The thing is, if you were let down by that All-Star game last night, it's because you went into it with expectations. Just don't. It's better for you. It's better for all of us. They don't care. They're going to act like they care. They really don't. Sorry. Going to have to look elsewhere. Now, the thing is, you got still half season to go. Or not half season, but, you got the rest of the season to go. Look to the regular season games. Just do that. Now, the other thing to come out of this weekend, which I think is much more interesting than the game itself, is LeBron. So he sat down. Very intriguing on the whole trade deadline where he said, he's like, I heard about the Warriors stuff from you guys, but then LeBron had a statement about the Warriors' interest, And he straight up said, yeah, it didn't go very far, which that made me laugh for a second because it sounds like LeBron was in the room negotiating. You know what I mean? When he goes, nah, it didn't go very far. Sounds like a GM. And LeBron is powerful enough, as he should be, to be kept abreast on this and to know the path and to know what's going on. But a lot of questions are coming around about his future. Now, I want to preface all of this by saying that we had the debate last week, or the discussion last week, about if LeBron would ever come back to the Cavs and if you would like him to come back. And I said, well, of course I'd love him to come back. There's no ounce of me that feels like that's actually going to happen for a couple different reasons. I think ride it off into the sunset, Lakers, you're not really going to be able to change history. You're not going to be able to recapture that. And he's off and he's happy and we're happy here. It all kind of works out. Then you talk money constraints. Then you talk about Bronny. I just see a lot of reasons that I don't believe it. Now, Ryan framed the debate for people about why okay. I started with, I want him to come back too, but you actually believe it's feasible. You believe it's actually going to happen, correct?
Yeah, I do. Well, so the whole is what is the issue? Is that the money, right?
The money is the big thing.
The money is the big thing. And I don't know LeBron personally, obviously. I don't know.
If you did and he hadn't been on this show, I'd be a little upset with you, but that's okay.
If he would take a pay cut, right? And I can't see why he wouldn't, dude. Like, you have the most money you'll ever need in your life. You're making more money off the court than you are on the court.
The debate that we had was, I said LeBron doesn't need the money, but he also needs to set precedent for the rest of the league. And you got to remember, and I know your counterpoint, which is a good one, you got to remember with star athletes, they are setting the bar for other people. The NFL Players Association wants Patrick Mahomes to sign the biggest contract because then that helps Joe Burrow get his money, and that helps Trevor Lawrence get his money, and that helps Lamar get his money. Well, had to fight tooth and nail for it, but he still got it. And they hated Tom Brady for taking the deals that he did. Now, your counterpoint to that is, he's LeBron. He can do whatever he wants.
Yeah,
right.
Nobody's gonna tell LeBron no. But that's the same thing. Why do they? I don't understand why they would hate that, because that just translates to better product, I think, on the court.
How so? I'm interested in your take on that.
Because if you're worried that LeBron coming back to Cleveland would be so much fun, not only for us as Cleveland fans, but that brings LeBron back to, okay, he's instantly again in the championship contender. The NBA wants LeBron in the NBA Finals every year they possibly
I think
could.
LeBron wants to get back to contending. So let's do this. We're dancing around. Let's play the clip. LeBron was speaking at the dais. I'm going to credit NBA on this. I don't remember where exactly I got it from, but shout out to them. LeBron was at the dais. He was asked questions about his future. We got a lot to unpack from this. Let's play it first. LeBron this weekend from All-Star Weekend talking about his future. Sound courtesy of the NBA.
I just don't know how I feel. I don't know if I will feel great about it. Maybe the only child in me, maybe. But I don't know. But I am a Laker, and I am happy and been very happy being a Laker the last 6 years, and hopefully it stays that way. But I don't have the answer to how long it is or, which uniform I'll be in. Hopefully it is with the Lakers. It's a great organization and so many greats. But we'll see. I don't know how it's going to end, but it's coming.
We dealt with, and I say dealt with LeBron. I know there's people out there that hate the games that he plays and the drama. I'm here for it. I don't care. I think he's the greatest player to ever play the game. He brought us a championship. You're going to have to put up with some of that stuff. We heard statements a lot like that when he was in Cleveland. And it's holding the teams accountable. And I got to tell you, Ryan, I think hearing that, shut it down, that he'll play for anybody else other than the Lakers. I think it was always a goal for him to go there. Dude, he's been there 6 years, which is crazy. It doesn't seem like it's been that long, but it has been. He's won the one championship. I'm picking that apart as this. I want to stay here. And what I want you to do, talking to the Lakers, is to make that happen. And you'd say, well, it's crazy. LeBron could just stay there. No, he needs the Lakers to meet him halfway. And that means improving this roster. This season's shot. This season's done. And I know LeBron doesn't like taking games off. I'm going to call my shot right now, Ryan. I think there's a point that they sit him down for a good chunk of time. If this ankle problem is really a thing, then he's just going to shut it down. This season's a wash. That reads to me as, I want to stay here, but I do need you to make these moves in this offseason to make this a viable place for me to stay. I'm not going to stay just for staying's sake, but I believe this is a place that we can get it turned around. And in his core, you heard him say, and I think he's being authentic there, he wants to play for the Lakers. And I think he wants to finish it out there. So with him saying that, that's putting a little onus back on them. Say, right the ship here. I'm going to give you the opportunity here to right the ship. Now, the issue is, in the past with LeBron, when you hit this point, what would he do? He would just leave. When the Cavs didn't meet him halfway the first time, he left. When things started going bad in Miami, he left. When he came back to Cleveland the second time, he squeezed all the juice out of that he could, and then he went to the Lakers. It's no different now. He has hit that point. Prior times, he would be leaving. Not now. Not in the twilight of his career. He would rather them see this through and try to get back to a finals. And LeBron, I'm sure, has had this monologue with himself in his head. There is a real chance, and I would probably say the betting favorite, if we were to do it on Tipico, that LeBron James never makes it back to an NBA Finals. I'm not saying that it's impossible, but at this point, the betting favorite would have to be no. With the competition in the rest of the league, and with how the Lakers are currently constructed, and they can go get they can have DeJounte Murray. They're not getting Donovan Mitchell. He's staying here. They can go get DeJounte Murray. They can go try to get some other player. The odds would say he's probably never going to come back or get back to the NBA Finals, excuse me. So with that in mind, you would think that would pressure him to go somewhere else. But if there's no other viable option and he's playing where he wants to play, Ryan, I got to tell you, I think he's done. I think he's staying in LA.
But what makes you think that he wants to stay in LA and that's where he wants to play basketball still?
There's everything that he does is in LA. His production companies are there. His son is playing at USC. Bryce is going to be out. I'm assuming going right there to UC.
USC.
I keep wanting to say UCLA. USC. Everything is there. He has made his life in LA. It means more. It means more. I'm assuming his forever house is there in LA. He's getting paid fine. He's going to continue to get paid that way. Just playing on out. That's fine.
You talk about riding off into the sunset with the Lakers. What makes that the team to ride off in the sunset?
It's the Lakers.
But it doesn't matter if it's the Lakers.
It's still the Lakers.
He got them the ring already.
Right.
And there's no way that...
You're grabbing on the fairy tale, riding it out with the Cavs and finishing that out.
And that's the thing. It's not even that I'm riding that fairy tale because it's unrealistic. If he comes here, we're instantly the favorites to win the NBA championship. It's hand in hand. He gets to come back to where he was. It's not like he was just playing here. He was born there. Like,
I differ on that because I just have always maintained that Akron is different than Cleveland. And LeBron has said as much. I get that. It's Northeast Ohio. I think there was always too much sauce put on that. I do.
That's
and I
fair.
appreciate him embracing the town. And when it was going, okay, think about it this way. When everybody hated him, he was from Akron.
Well, let me ask you this.
And then when he came back, no, he was kind of, he's from there. He's from Cleveland and all that kind of stuff. But
where would you put on LeBron's, as we know he's on the twilight of his career, where would you put on his list of priorities of winning another ring?
I would think it'd be up there, but it's not the wide gap that it was. And especially if you have to assume that LeBron understands he's not getting to 6. If we start that conversation with if one more, and I should be better versed on this, I'm sorry. Most NBA championships by a player. Bill Russell's the answer. We know that. We get it. But if you're talking about Sam Jones, and then John Havlicek has 8, Robert Horry has 7. Here's the group of 6. Kareem, well, really the 2 that you matter. Kareem and Jordan. Yeah, Pippen and Bob Cousy. 5 would put him with Magic, Rodman, Kobe, and Tim Duncan. So he's at 4 right now, right, as we know. With Shaq, Parker, Ginobili, Steph, and Draymond, and Clay, and Andre Iguodala.
The fact that LeBron has the same amount of rings as Steph, I mean, that has to
The fact that he's got the same amount of rings as Draymond Green.
That's got to piss him off.
Then, okay, so that's my whole point. Would 5 really do it for him?
But
would 5 really do it for LeBron?
I would have to imagine.
He's going to go run to get another ring. But if he has kind of maybe had the tough conversation, I ain't getting a 6, so what does 5 mean?
But I would have to imagine
then you'd say in Lakers.
I would have to imagine for a dude who went to the finals, what was it, 10 years in a row, or what was it?
8. 4 straight with the Heat and 4 straight with us.
So I got to imagine then now, okay, you went to the finals with the Lakers. What was that, 2020, the bubble? I think that was 2020.
That's the year they won the championship.
Either way, so now this is like since he entered the league.
If you're an anti-LeBroner, you go, they won that in the bubble.
Since he entered the league, right? This will now be the longest that he has gone without being in the finals. Obviously.
Yeah, because he went.
I got to imagine that's got to be on. Like that's got to be on somewhere in the back of his mind. And before you go and retire, I got to imagine he wants to play on that stage one more time.
But that kind of comes back to if he is accepting life.
But why would he do that?
Because it's going to come to an end eventually.
So
and I want to talk about that in hour 2 about his retirement tour. But if he the question is. And maybe we need to succinctly ask this. Is he content? Is he content with the 4, with the scoring title that'll never be touched, and the 4 rings? If he's content with that, then he's never going to leave the Lakers because that's where he wants to be. If it gnaws at him and it still bothers him and he wants to get to Jordan, then he's going to go find some. I just, from what I hear from him there, it sounds like he's content, and it doesn't.
I can't imagine so.
It doesn't mean that he's packing it in. It doesn't mean that he's just going to roll out the basketball and we'll play this season out and figure it out and who cares, whatever. But if it isn't the main driving force, which I know that's what you asked, right? Is that still the driving force of LeBron? If he's content with it, then he's going to stay with the Lakers.
I just can't imagine how he would ever be content with that.
He's got 4. He's got the scoring title.
Who cares?
What do you mean?
Because everybody loves to say Jordan's got 6.
But the thing is, they won't. Okay, that LeBron-Jordan debate, I think he's also realized, as I have, you will never change anyone's opinion on that. With whatever era you grew up in, or whatever metric you want to look at, it's hard to argue with somebody. But they're always going to take one or the other.
But no, you're totally right. But if LeBron could come, yes, this is me being a homer and dreaming, right? But still, he needs 2 more to tie Jordan.
And do you really believe he could get to 2?
With the Cavs team now? Yeah.
We differ on that.
So why?
I don't.
So if LeBron came, what would stop it?
Time. He's got 3 more years.
So then why wouldn't you say, screw it, I'm going to go get my best chance to tie Jordan. I'm going to get 2. He could get another ring.
One more, sure, and that's what I'm talking about. If the 1 more really doesn't do it, then what's the matter?
But then why not try to get 2? I think it's possible.
I guess it's possible. He could believe that it's with the Lakers.
And also, B Scrolls on YouTube, he said, why can't the Cavs be favored to win the NBA championship without LeBron coming back? Come on, man. You got to have a little bit of faith in your team, bro. I'll tell you why, because we haven't won a playoff series since he left. So why would we ever in a million years ever be favored to go win an NBA championship?
And I think the Cavs right now are in the proper spot. To B Scrolls' point, we're probably, if you were really looking at it objectively, 3 or 4. And that's great. And I am holding on to get me to the playoffs and see what happens. I'm excited about how this team is built. And I think we're scrappy. And I think we could take it to some of the best teams in a 7-game series. That's all I ask for. Now, LeBron is not the same where you put him on this team. Sure, I would think they would be the favorite. And there could be some discussion there. But, not the same LeBron. He's still playing at an extremely high level.
He doesn't need to be, though.
Well, that was always the goal, to not have to do this late in his career, and yet here we are. And trust me, I know the Cavs would love. I write it off, man. When I hear him speak as glowingly as he did there about the Lakers.
But what is he's playing for him right now. What else is he gonna say?
Well, he wants to hold. Again, it's him playing the game, which he knows how to play better than anybody. He's letting this stuff to get out to get to the Lakers to say, give me a reason to stay. I want to stay. I don't want to go anywhere else, but I need you to give me a reason to stay. And if that's DeJounte Murray or if that's some other player, again, I know, right? You think that would just be the ultimate fix. And the problem is, the Lakers might roll up snake eyes on that. Their ultimate play of trying to get LeBron that ring or get this player, are they going to put all their eggs in that Donovan Mitchell basket? Are they really going to do that? And where, the Cavs involved, I don't know. But you would believe that if he could just go join some of the team, the Lakers, we'll just take your players then. We'll just try to get that. Okay, we'll just join the Cavs. We'll just get Donovan Mitchell to come here. And I hope the Cavs don't trade him. I would actually prefer this, that if it came down to, and this is not spiteful towards LeBron, it's spiteful towards the Lakers. If the Lakers came calling and said, we want to trade for Donovan Mitchell, I'd rather have him walk. Now, Kobe Altman can't do that. You got to get draft picks. You got to get some players, all that. But in that scenario, where if it came down to you either got to accept the Lakers trade or let Donovan Mitchell walk, I'd rather just let him walk. And if he wants to then go to the Lakers, sure, fine, but I ain't engaging in that. It's probably why I'm not an NBA general manager.
Yeah.
It's probably why not. You turned down 3 first-round picks. Yeah, I don't want him. Blank off, man. I don't want him.
That's some serious Ohio State-Michigan rivalry.
Can't do that.
Stuff.
Can't. As the thing, I don't even hate the Lakers the most. Celtics, I hate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Most hated NBA team. You want to know the other one that we used to always play the Wizards really hard. The Wizards, the Raptors, the Pistons always seem to show up against them. Remember that little budding rivalry we had with the Hawks for a little while?
Yeah. Well, they wanted it to be a rivalry.
They wanted it to be. But yeah, I mean, you also got to look that things are different. Times are different. LeBron wants maybe different things in life now, different things in basketball life. We'll see. All right, we got the morning update coming up. We got more LeBron because I want to talk about his retirement tour. Our Twitter question, pretty hot this morning. We started talking about the Mike Tannenbaum thing where he has come back again with yet another trade for Deshaun Watson and how the Browns could get out. So I just want to see where the fans were at. Where are you at with Deshaun Watson? I'm all in. I think he's the guy, but I'd start, maybe questioning it. I'd start exploring trade options, or I'm all the way out. We'll vote on that. We did vote on it, We'll get the updates on that. Hour 2 coming up. LeBron retirement tour. I got a very strong take on that. I have a very strong take on that. So we'll get to that coming up. We got time up. I got quite a few movies for you today. 3 movies and a television show.
Okay.
I'm going to ask for 4 for 4 out of you today.
Okay.
There's one that's a curveball. There's one that's a giant curveball. But there's 2. Sorry to say, Ryan, you better get.
Okay.
You better get. No pressure. We'll get to that coming up in time up as well. Stay with us. Fontana Show, hour down. We got another hour to go. Plenty coming up for you right here on Big Play Streaming. We're on Twitter, up on YouTube. Drop us a subscribe there if you can. Twitch, our new channel there. Also up on Instagram, Matt Fontana Show. All across it. Drop follows if you can. Back right after this. Let's jump right into it. Monday edition. A lot happening over the weekend. You'll get my expertise on college basketball. Let me tell you about the... I got nothing. I'll tell you about it. Bring it up, please, Ryan.
Oh, I'm going to.
That we had a morning update. All the stories you got to know from the weekend. Let's run on through it. We go on the morning update. Ryan, please go ahead.
Alrighty, Matt. Well, Damian Lillard walked away from All-Star Weekend with quite the set of hardware there. He wins the NBA three-point contest. He's now back-to-back winners in that. But he also claims the MVP for the East as they win the All-Star game, Matt. And people were not very happy as the hometown crowd there in Indy really wanted to see it go to their guy, Tyrese Halliburton.
Yeah, I mean, again... Points, sure. I think when Dame hit that half-court shot, that was pretty good. So Dame had 39. Halliburton had 32. What do you get, dude? They shot... Can you believe the East shot 97 threes? 97. And still hit him at 43%. That's pretty good.
It's supposed to be the world's greatest pickup game, Matt, but it looks
That's what it is. That's a great way to put it.
It looks like me at the gym just chucking up threes because I'm absolutely gassed.
Just chuck it up. I mean, the thing is, for a guy like Dame to win that, he actually needs to care about it because he played 28 minutes. You could tell that, you know, some guys, well, Donovan only played 16 and... Sorry, I've got a hair in my mouth. Some guys, they wanted to. So you got to give Dame credit because it seemed like he was like, yeah, I kind of, I want to win this. I want to get this award. I don't know how you can deny him 39 and that half quarter. I think they made the right decision there. But yeah, Giannis only played 23 minutes. I mean, you could tell there were a lot of guys that go, yeah, give it to the young guys late in the game. I don't want to play in this.
All right, well, before we move on from basketball, yes, Matt, we just talked about it, but for those who didn't catch it, yes, LeBron says that he wants to finish his career with the Lakers. I'm not totally buying it, but I know you might be.
I am.
But he's talked about it.
He has, and I just see the posturing. I see this as pushing the Lakers to say, I want to stay here, but not as currently constructed. You're going to have to make some moves. You're going to have to try to get another player in here. And the Lakers also, like... Isn't it a little weird to look at the case study of the LA Lakers, right? Where I always have maintained that sports are cyclical. And what I mean is that usually you go through a cycle of you're really good, then you got to be really bad, then you build it back up, and you're good again. There are some teams that were able to avoid that for 20 years. You know, the Patriots did that. I think the Chiefs are in the middle of doing that. I thought the Lakers were going to be one of those teams. And with how they played in the early 2000s, yeah, they won another one with Kobe, but correct me, like, would you say the Lakers, for the last decade, they've been pretty bad, right?
For LeBron.
Again, even certainly before LeBron. But even with LeBron, they're not odds-on favorites every year, and they won the one in the bubble, and I get all that. It's just a little weird to look at the state of the Lakers as one of those teams. They're a legacy team. They're one of the most popular teams for England all sports. And they've been pretty ass for about a decade now. And even with where they're at right now, do you see the path out of this? Do you see a viable path to getting back to the legacy of that is the Lakers? And I don't know. They put it out. You want to know what screwed them? Anthony Davis has not been the player that they expected him to be.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of injury. I get it. But there's still the draw. There's still the fact that it is the Lakers. You know, LeBron, I think, wants to see this thing out, but he's going to need some help there. It's kind of crazy to see, though, just how bad, really, the Lakers have been over the last decade.
Well, I lied, actually. We're not going out of basketball completely, but let's go to the college ranks, Matt. And I mean, wow. Ohio State takes down number 2 Purdue. The game after Chris Holtmann gets fired. And I don't know how much sauce you want to put on that because it's hard to imagine that just him stepping away for one game launches them to a top 5.
Matt Painter came out and he said, and Grant, I think he's trying to help Chris Holtmann.
Yeah.
He came out after the game. He goes, if Chris Holtmann was the coach, it would have been the same exact score. I think he's speaking more on kind of Purdue. Yeah, we all had to look at him like, is that John Diebler? Or no, it's Jake Diebler. That's his brother. I didn't know quite the legacy of the Diebler brothers. I know John really well just from his time with Ohio State, but I didn't know about the brother. I mean, the thing is, do you go poach? And this is the big thing. I know nothing of college basketball. I frankly hate college basketball. It's going to be a lot of fun when you do March Madness because I got nothing for you. I don't even know who the number 1 team in the country is right now.
It's UConn.
Is it? Good. I know
Unless they
Purdue
just
was
lost,
too.
but-
I don't know.
I know they played Marquette. I don't know if
Because
they won.
Houston, are they still good? Are they 3?
Yeah, Houston.
They're going to go up to 2. I got nothing. I mean, on Holtman, on Ohio State, I'll care if they're good. So go find me a coach to do that. If it's Jake Diebler, fine. Everybody wants Jay Wright to come out of retirement. The thing is Ohio State powerful enough to go poach somebody? Go get somebody from a top program, or do you try to find the up-and-coming guy? Maybe it's Jake Diebler. I don't know. You know, Ross Bjork's in there now. He's the new AD. He'll figure that out. Go Buckeyes, I guess. Good win. Sorry for Chris Holtman. Enjoy your buyout, man.
Yeah, no kidding. But let's flip it to football for the last thing of the morning update here, Matt. Peter King came out with an article this morning, and in the article, quote, he's feeling good about Cleveland, Philadelphia in Brazil on the evening of Friday, September 6th. Maybe the Browns going overseas.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm glad you brought it up because I don't want to do that. So here's how it lays out. That the Browns, so Philly is giving up a game to go there, and the Browns travel to take on Philly, so we inherently become one of 9 teams that become a possibility. The other factor, it's been, 7 years now since the Browns went international when they went over to London? It kind of lines up. The other interesting thing is, now that they're expanding out to somewhere else in Europe, there are some teams that have marketing deals in that area already, so it makes sense to send those teams. I'll say it, stick in the mud, mind my lawn. I hate this. And again, I don't travel with the team. I'm not going to go to that game. I know plenty of people that are, and I know fans that are and all that kind of stuff. It's just going to mess my football team up. Yeah. That trip is not easy for anybody. I don't want to do that. And it's selfish because I live in Cleveland, Ohio, that's always loved football. And maybe I'm being closed-minded about, I don't care. I don't care about growing the game. The billions of dollars that you got, the millions that you made off Taylor Swift. You really want to go to all these other markets and do all this other stuff? And I'm sure that they have the metrics and the marketing people that'll tell you, Ryan, I want to know how many people go to those games that are Americans. Now, you would say for the NFL, if their goal is growing the game, then there's no point. If you're just taking Cleveland fans and shipping them down to São Paulo or wherever in Brazil they play that game, and you put them down there, then what's the matter? Okay, well, the NFL could say, all right, well, we helped out the economy in Brazil because you had all these people coming down and spending money in flights and all that kind of stuff. Well, then that's not your main goal. If your main goal is to grow the game, go to the stadium and find out how many people are in there becoming a fan of that team that are actually from London or actually from Germany or from Brazil or from Mexico City. It's not as many as you think. So I don't think this is actually helping. And in today's day and age where everything is on the TV and you can order NFL Red Zone or you can buy this or you could watch, I don't think it's worth it. And that's me being a shut-off on this, stick in the mud about, I got my football team, they play right here. I really don't care. And again, if I want to boil it down to, I think it's going to mess my football team up. That trip is not easy to do, depending on where it lays out in the season. Okay, we'll give them a bye after that. Then we got to bitch about field conditions and security and all that. I think it's a giant waste of time. I think it's a giant waste of time from the NFL. Expansion is always on their mind. And international, I guess, where the football, again, I see it. You are already the biggest thing in the United States of America. There's nothing bigger from a sports standpoint, from a TV viewing standpoint. The NFL has got it on lock, and they don't want to be complacent, right? We got to find the next big, great thing. All that's left is international. And eventually, they'll be playing a game in Japan. Eventually, I don't know about China. I don't want to say China, probably not. But, eventually it's going to go all over. Just because, the NFL is never going anywhere. With how it's built up, with the sports gambling now, with the TV, it will never, ever, 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 ever be shut down from being the number one thing. So that's why I get it, because they're greedy. Doesn't make it does nothing for me. It does nothing for me. And you might say, like, oh man, wouldn't it be cool to, like, go to London and go see your team play? If I wanted to go to London that bad, I'm just gonna go to London. I don't need to go see my team play over there. I get that it's cool to say that you went to that game and it only happens every couple of years, and that's fine. But also, I am a lot like, I'm like a good chunk of Browns fans. I have a family. I can't just go on a week vacation and leave my wife at home with our kids. Oh, we'll just pack the kids up and go. Yeah, right. No. If my kids were older, if they were in their teens, if they were teenagers, yeah, maybe. But I also, the money that it's going to cost, like, again, if I'm going to take them to London, I'll just take them to London. I don't need the Browns. I'd rather just pay to go see them at Cleveland Browns Stadium there in Brook Park, Ohio. I'd rather just do that. I guess maybe I'm the minority on all this. I hate international games. I hate them all. Okay, I get to wake up at 9 a.m. and watch a football game. Sure, that's fine. That's cool. That's fun. I get it on Thursday. I got it all day Sunday. I got it on here's what I'd rather have games on Saturday. And they'll never do that.
All I want is the Super Bowl to be a Saturday.
That's all I'd ever want. They'll never do it with college football, and I understand that.
But
my happiest time of the year, Super Bowl, because you own Sunday.
But
you own Sunday.
That's such a stupid tradition. Like to make that the reason. Would they not get more money on a Saturday?
I would. Well, and here's the thing: knowing that it's the most viewed program of the year anyway, I would assume you'd get a little uptick.
Yeah,
you'd get a little uptick.
And for them greedy sons of guns.
That's what I'm saying. Is the international stuff? They all want money. They want marketing money, and their goal is for what? London to develop a fan base for the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's what they're. Did it actually work? I'm asking a rhetorical question. I have no idea. I think they're stupid. I think they are really, again, it's not stupid because I know what they're trying to do. It just does not appeal to me in the least. And you might be saying, Matt, you are discrediting some kid that lives in Brazil that is now going to forever grow up a Philadelphia Eagles or Cleveland Browns fan. And maybe I am robbing that youngster
maybe we're
of that
saving
opportunity.
Him the pain.
Maybe that too. I tell you a quick story. So we went to Ireland. One of the stops that we made, we did 3 cities. My wife and her parents took them as our present for paying for our wedding. So we went and we upon a bar, the Shelbourne Bar in Cork, Ireland. And we sit down and they got a whiskey list thick as a Bible. And I'm flipping through and I found my whiskey. I got a video of them taking my whiskey out of the rafters so I get a nice pour. We're enjoying our evening. And we start chatting it up with our bartender. His name's Mark. Mark goes, "Where are you from?" And we go, "Cleveland." And he looks at us with a smile. And he goes, "You know I'm a Browns fan?" We go, "No way." And he goes, "I swear to God." And I go, "Are you from Cleveland?" He goes, "No, I'm born and raised in Cork, Ireland." Why'd I be no, I'm never from Cleveland. So how did you become a Browns fan? And he said, a couple of years ago, when American football started really taking off, and we could watch it over here, I said I wanted to pick a team. So he told us his friends put up a bunch of teams on the wall. No joke, he threw a dart. And it landed on the Cleveland Browns. And he goes, "I've been a Browns fan for about 3 years now." And I go, "Great." He didn't need some game coming to London. He didn't need some team that showed up that he was going to gravitate to or jump on. And this is the interesting thing. We are Browns fans, or a good chunk of us are Browns fans because we were born here and our parents were Browns fans, right? So when you talk to somebody that really does not have a rooting interest, it's stories like that. Or it's stories that I gravitated towards this player, or there was a story. Like them going and playing a game, I think is important. I don't know. So the international games, and especially now that the Browns are rumored for this, I hate it. I don't like it. And I would tell you, the teams probably don't like it. How couldn't they? No, this is not some vacation. I know this it's not just about the Browns. This is every NFL team, but maybe even to a different level for the Browns. They love structure and routine and schedules. And you talk to any player, they tell you, dude, when we go to the West Coast, we got to play at 4 o'clock Eastern instead of 1 o'clock. It's a pain in the ass. It throws our body clock off. And you try to stay on East Coast time. Then you get back on the plane, you do all this other stuff. There was a player that was talking about that when they go to London, where when they fly to London, everybody takes a bunch of Ambien and falls asleep because you have got to sleep on the way there. Then coming back, he said you got to do whatever you needed to do to stay awake because you had to land and then go to sleep to get back on cycle. Want to know why? You probably maybe had a bye week, sure, but you got to get right back in the swing of things, man. I don't like it.
It's a small sample size, but, I mean, go back just this year, right? I mean, the Jaguars were in London for 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
They came back, and they probably had one of the biggest fall-offs of the season.
Oh, sure. You know, the Rams, which, again, that was the long trip for them, and I don't know exactly what they did after that. I don't like it. I know the players don't like it. I know the teams don't like it, and they try to avoid it the best that they can. You know, the other thing, talking about going over there, you know, and playing and all that, you then get into the field. You know, you get into all this other stuff that they're dealing with. Can't even get the fields that you play in every weekend to be right. I don't like it. So I hope to the nth degree that the Browns avoid that game. I don't want to go at all. Now, Deshaun Watson might be a part of that when they do go. Our Twitter question is up this morning at Matt Fontana's show. We were asking everybody, how are you currently feeling about the Deshaun Watson contract? And we did this because Mike Tannenbaum is still just running through these trade scenarios for the Browns and getting. Here's the one thing. Mike Tannenbaum is all coming from getting out of the Watson deal, right? This isn't about a trade of improving the roster. The whole premise is getting out of the Deshaun Watson deal. And that's in essence what we wanted to ask people this morning. Do you want to get out of the deal? Have you seen enough that you're ready to pull the ripcord and we're done? Knowing that you have to pay a penalty, you have to pay that money still, lost draft picks, all that. Our poll early, 35% of people say, I think he's the guy, but 30%, he's likely not the answer. 18%, I'm all the way in. 16%, I'm all the way out. So if I want to look at it from that standpoint, what? About 65% of our votes are somewhere in the middle on Deshaun Watson. Somewhere in the middle is not enough to go make a move then. Somewhere in the middle of waiting to see what he is not enough to go pull the ripcord. So I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to take this and assume that Browns fans are not ready to move on from Deshaun Watson yet. So with that in mind, shut Mike Tannenbaum down. Shut him down. I don't mean to do that. I don't mean to send it to him this way. You want to clip it and tag him? That's fine. Mike, I appreciate what you're trying to do. I appreciate that your gears are turning. Here's an idea I got in this net. Shut it down. Shut it down. Fans, a small sample size this morning, they're still in on Deshaun Watson. The team, I would assume is the same way. Shut it down. And, you know, we'll have to have Jack Duffin back on from the OBR. Should we talk to Jack about London games, international games?
Yeah.
My understanding, again, watching what they do with Watson's money this offseason, it's a giant circle for me. That's something that I want to see what they do with Watson's money this offseason. That's going to tell us a little bit. But no matter what, every year it will become easier to move on from it. It was impossible to move on from it 2 years ago. It was impossible to move on from it last year. From my understanding for what Jack has said, it's borderline impossible to move on from it now. But after next season, it gets a little easier. And then a little after that. The thing is, the sacrifice that you would then make is the rest of the team, where you wasted prime years of a lot of your good players if you don't believe that Deshaun Watson's the guy. But I think we shut this down.
The problem I have is, what do people think getting out of Deshaun Watson's contract does for us? It frees up money, okay, but that's fine. Where are you putting that money?
I mean, you would have to look at finding it, because that you're bringing up a fantastic point,
You can't
Ryan.
just go get a quarterback off the street.
Who's going to play quarterback?
No,
right?
like how many more times do we have to get proved that you're not doing jack squat in the playoffs if you don't have a top 10 quarterback in the NFL.
That's a fact.
We got bounced.
That's a fact.
We got embarrassingly bounced, matter of fact. You're not doing anything. And in fact, it was a godsend that we got to the playoffs. I don't know if we're going to duplicate that if that ever we got to that situation again. But okay, cool. Quit paying Deshaun Watson. Give him his money that we owe him and get out of it somehow if somebody wanted to pick it up, right? Okay. What do you think we're going to do?
Well, okay, so here's the other thing that I think is interesting. For everybody that feels like, the Nets fired Jacques Vaughn. Great beard on Jacques Vaughn. Nets are cooked. They're done. Anyway, the fear would be that you are in this vacuum that you have to make a move right now. When in reality, there will be quarterbacks available next year. There will be quarterbacks available the year after that. I'm just saying, people feel like you got to make a move now because you're saying, okay, we can get Justin Fields. We do. But the thing is, are people coming at, there's two schools of thought, and it's kind of what we're talking about here. Are you making a move because you want to go find a better quarterback, or are you making a move because Deshaun Watson just isn't your quarterback? Those can be two separate things. I think the majority of people would want to make a move just because they believe Deshaun Watson isn't the guy. The problem then is, who is? If you sat there and had something where quarterback X, let's just say his name is, Justin Fields, and he was available, then we'd be having a different conversation. That's not the world that we live in now. People want to make the move because they're sick of Watson.
Yeah, but
they want to make, and that's the wrong move to make.
Get over themselves.
That's the wrong move to make. And especially when there isn't a good, viable out. Right now, there is no lifeline. There's no lifeboat out there to save you from this. So you got to weather this storm and see where you come out the other side. So as much as they want to bring up this trade or this or that, the thing is, as the combine, which is it not next week already?
It's real soon.
Dude, oh my gosh. I love the combine. February 26th, it starts next week. Yes, combine week. There'll be some scuttlebutt. There's going to be a lot of talk. And when you don't hear anything about Deshaun Watson, then I think we finally put that to rest. We're going to get some news on Caleb Williams next week. We're going to get some news on Justin Fields next week. I kind of thought they might have the extensions done for Barry and Stefanski by then, too. I got to say, I got a little time to figure that out, or them to figure that out, maybe this week. I don't know. But I thought there was a world that might happen. But again, as they play this out, there's no lifeline right now. Teams are not going to help you get out of this. There is no team that is going to sit there and try to help you out of this situation if the Browns actually even want out. It's hard. You don't have you're not beat over the head with, yes, this is the guy. So you got to stand pat. You got to play it out. So we're going to make the proclamation right now. We're going to shut down the Mike Tannenbaum stuff.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Now, I'm going to leave it open if somebody else has something, if something else comes out. But the Mike Tannenbaum running on the Watson this trade or the Watson that, we're going to shut that down. We're done with it. We're good to go. I scrolled through this because I think it's interesting to see about franchise tag options around the league. Because does the window open tomorrow? Yes. The franchise tag window for the NFL opens tomorrow and runs until March 5th. During that time, each team is allowed to tag one player who is scheduled to become an unrestricted free agent. You can do that with the franchise tag. You can do that with the transition tag, different dollar amounts and all that. Now, I scrolled down to the Cleveland Browns just because I wanted to see if Jake Schroeder would have something. And of course, rightly so, there's not a single candidate on this team that is deserving of a franchise tag. Maybe Corey Bojorquez? No. He writes, it's hard to see Cleveland using the franchise tag on any of its free agents. Zadarius Smith, Shelby Harris, Sione Takitaki, and Kareem Hunt are among the players that played key roles for the Browns last season. But Cleveland is far more likely to re-sign any of those players or just replace them in the draft or free agency than use the tag on them, which is rightly so. So I did want to go around. I'll give you one guess, the two players I wanted to see if this tag came up for.
T. Higgins.
Cincinnati Bengals. Ben Baby, T. Higgins. His end of the season news conference, Joe Burrow made it clear that he expects T. Higgins to be back. With a long-term deal a big question mark, the franchise tag is the most logical solution for the Bengals if they want to keep Higgins for at least the season. they have some cap flexibility to keep Higgins, Jamar Chase, and Burrow together for just another year run. The whole point of the franchise tag is keep them here to try to get that deal done. I think you keep him for one more year, and then they'll move on from him. So T. Higgins off the list. Would you dare guess the other player that I was keeping an eye on?
Is it another wide receiver?
Yes.
Michael Pittman?
Not Mike Pittman.
Okay, Mike Evans.
Mike Evans is the answer. So I scroll down to the NFC South. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, from Jenna Lane, she says Antoine Winfield Jr. She writes, Bucs have several high-profile free agents, Mike Evans, Baker Mayfield, Antoine Winfield Jr., and Levante David. But Winfield makes the most sense. They can franchise tag him for $17 million for the safety position. Would it make more sense to sign him an extension? Sure. But that amount is not going to break the bank the way that tagging Mayfield at $36 million or even Evans. But she writes, tagging Evans would not be good for his morale with the team. That's disrespectful, right?
He'd be pissed off.
So you got to do one of two things with Mike Evans. You either got to cut him and say, hey, man, we appreciate your time here, or you sign him to a long-term deal. You know the franchise tag for wide receivers? $28 million. It's a lot of money for a receiver. Justin Jefferson's deal ain't even done yet. Imagine that for next season. Woo! That Amari Cooper deal looks better and better over and over and over again. The issue is to get, again, Mike Evans, you're going to have to sign him to that extension. It ain't going to happen. Not happening. You mentioned one Michael Pittman. Would you dare guess the candidate for the tag from the Indianapolis Colts?
So is it not Michael Pittman?
It is Michael Pittman. Stephen Holder, excuse me. The Colts haven't used the franchise tag since, oh my God, this is a pull. I'll give you one guess, the last player that the Indianapolis Colts used the franchise tag on.
Do I get a position, or would that give it away?
The give it away would be the position, which would give you a hint anyway on that. Very specific niche position. We've heard a lot about this guy over the last months.
Pat McAfee?
Pat McAfee in 2013 was the last player to get the franchise tag from the Indianapolis Colts. He says, but they've rarely gone down the wire with one of their big money core players in this fashion. The franchise tag for Pittman is a possibility for two reasons. Number one, he said he's intrigued by the idea of testing the open market, but the Colts could have other ideas. And secondly, Pittman himself has acknowledged that the franchise tag is possible and accepts it might provide a path to reaching an agreement, so he would not see it as a deal breaker. Those are the only wide receivers on the list. T. Higgins, Mike Evans, and Michael Pittman. There were a lot of teams. I got to tell you, Ryan, I would say more than half. I'm talking, I think 60% of the league on this NFL Nation. Again, they went down to every team. The vast majority, no candidate. No candidate. That's interesting. And I think the NFL likes it that way. They like the open market. The players certainly like it because they get paid. And the teams are like, dude, with some of these big fat, again, $28 million for a receiver for 1 year. The quarterback, 36. It's working out because the players are either going to get paid in free agency, but they're coming with long-term deals. Because the teams are sitting there going, I ain't spending that money on a free agent, on a franchise tag, excuse me.
Matt, let's see if you can pull this one. Since coming back to Cleveland, the Browns.
I saw you. Google
Did you see the answers?
I saw David Njoku.
Okay, so there's only been one other one since we came back.
Isn't it Phil?
Yeah.
Yeah. They franchise tagged Phil Dawson. The joke is you haven't had a good enough play, but the thing is the Browns are smart. Grant Delpit would have been a candidate, but they signed him to a long-term deal, right? So you want to get to that, try to get the long-term deal, tack it on to some rookie stuff. We'll see how that goes. And again, for the Browns, the moves that they're going to make, I'll say this, and I don't mean to take shots. There's not a free agent on that list that I can't live without. You're not in a box like the Ravens that have just a buttload of guys hitting free agency. There's not a player. And it's not a shot at Zadarius Smith. It's not a shot at Shelby Harris. There is not a player on the Browns free agency list that I can't live without.
Absolutely.
I'd like them back if the right dollar amount happens. I'd like Corey Bajorquez. Is it Corey Bajorquez? Right? He needs a deal.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. I'd like him back. I'll go find somebody else.
Yeah.
The punter.
But this conversation will be totally.
Oh, you want to
different
get into
next year.
punter contract off-season conversations, Ryan? Is that where you want to take this show? We can do it.
I'm saying that we're fortunate we don't have to deal with this conversation
Oh,
right
I know,
now
it's great.
of deals and tags. But
Do you even know who the highest paid punter in the NFL is? Could you ever guess?
I don't know.
Michael Dixon makes $3.6 million a year as the punter for the Seattle Seahawks.
Never would have got that.
Nope.
But I'm saying next year, Matt, could be really a total 180 of we have a lot of candidates. I feel like imagine if we don't sign JOK, he'd be the number one candidate for a tag next year.
Again, you got to get that deal done. Here, I'm looking at free agent tracker. Oh, shoot. Hang on. Tracker 2025 Cleveland Browns.
Maybe what? Chubb, Jock,
So as of today,
MJ.
your 2025 unrestricted free agents: Amari Cooper, Nick Chubb, Jedrick Wills, Greg Newsome, depending on if they pick up his fifth-year option or not, Dustin Hopkins, Elijah Moore, Jordan Akins, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah.
Yeah.
But, dude,
I'd like to think.
Okay,
they're gonna
Cooper-
extend Jock.
figure that out. I've got no fear about Nick Chubb. I think they'll get that done. Really, other than that, it's JOK. It ain't that bad, man.
And he'll get a deal.
I think he'll
would
get a
assume.
deal, too. Newsome, we'll see what they do with him this offseason. Jed Wills is gone. Hopkins, they'll redo a deal for. Dude, they're pretty well set.
Yeah,
Pretty well set.
Yeah.
Pretty well set for 2 years. So that's how you get it going. All right, we looked into the future. Now it's time to look into the past. We'll do it with Time Up when we return. Tell you some things that happened in sports history. A couple of birthdays, including a very important one in my family. And 3 movies and a television show. Outside chance at 4 for 4. But there's 2 you got to hit. There's 2 you got to get. We'll get to that coming up. And it's a good idea or bad idea for LeBron to take a retirement tour, for him to announce before the season that he's done, for him to go play. I feel pretty positive about my take on this. But we'll talk about coming up next. Stay with us. Fontana Show, Big Play Time Up. Coming your way next. All right, jump into timeout. Fun one day here on President's Day, 19th of February. We go back in time, tell you what happened. Some Cavs, NBA All-Star Game. A couple movies and TV shows. Let's get into it, including 4 years ago today. John Beilein officially resigns as the head coach of the Cleveland Cavaliers. We talked about it last week in timeout, but it was all reported and rumored. Bad idea, bad hire, never really just like fit in with the players. And I do subscribe to, and I think college basketball is different than college football, but some guys are just good college coaches. Some are good pro coaches. I know Billy Donovan has done both, and Fred Hoiberg tried to do both, and I get it, but Beilein ain't working, man. It just didn't work. And again, I go back to, I think the right thing was keeping J.B. Bickerstaff on this staff, and I'm a big believer in J.B. He's going to take us where we need to go, so I'm happy that he's here. Speaking of coaches, also this day, 2020, the Browns introduced Alex Van Pelt, Joe Woods, and Mike Prefer. None of them are here. Obviously, Woods and Prefer go last year. AVP done now. And I do think it's rare that you have a coordinator, last that long. It's just, that's...
Yeah, nowadays.
Especially with, head coaches come and go. But the thing is that none of those guys left for a head coaching job. They all got, in essence, fired. And it's the easy thing to do is to kind of blame the coordinator, but look at, it's an interesting case study. And I'm sure there's a way you can find this. What's the average length of an NFL coach at a job? We talk about the players. The average NFL career is less than 3 years. You got guys that have a cup of coffee. You got guys that last 13 years. I get it. But it's the same thing for coaches. And the grind of uprooting your family every 4 or 5 years and moving to a different city, and then you're fired, you're caught up with everybody. It's a tough gig. It is not. I know they make a lot of money, but, the head coaches make millions of dollars. Some selective assistants do. They're guys, and granted, that's good money to a lot of us. A couple $100,000, and you're moving around, you're doing this and doing that. You're all tired. Tough gig, man. Tough gig. Joe Woods, where is he? Down in New Orleans. What's Mike Prefer doing? Is he still?
I think he just got fired somewhere.
Did he? Poor Mike. He's an interesting guy. He flew helicopters in the Gulf War, man. He's out of a job. By God, he's out of a job. He actually hasn't done anything since he got let go from the Browns. Took the year off. Huh. Yeah. I remember that day when they introduced AVP. Everybody's like, Baker Mayfield, what are you going to do to fix him? Baker Mayfield. I thought he got a good year out of Baker there. As quarterback coach. But they were introduced this day, 2020. This day, 2019, Khloe Kardashian dumped Tristan Thompson after he was alleged. How do you screw that up, man? How do you screw that up? I don't know. It's drama for their television show, so I'm sure they love it. But he's back on the TV show. He's back in with the Kardashians.
I don't know how that works.
I saw, what's her name? Didn't they have a kid? Travis Barker. Who's he married to?
One of them.
Courtney.
Courtney.
Yeah, Courtney. They got a kid coming. Not that I watched that show, but my wife liked to watch it. I think it's on streaming now. It's not even on E anymore. I think they canceled the show.
Yeah, I think it's streaming.
Oh, well, speaking of extramarital affairs. This day, 2010, Tiger Woods had his press conference, admitted to his adultery. It was so, and again, I think he's a piece of crap for doing that. Kind of looked past it. Of course, he let everybody down this weekend. He got sick, didn't even withdrew from the Genesis. But that presser, that his mom was sitting front row. And he's had to admit to all the things that he did. He's Tiger Woods, man. Not excusing it in the least. He has certainly paid for it in one way or another. But he did that this day, 2010. All-Star game this day, 2006. LeBron James named the MVP. East beats the West, 122-120 down there in Houston. You want to run through? Do you want to see how many All-Stars from 2006 you can name?
Sure.
LeBron was named the All-Star MVP, so there's one.
Should I start with the East?
East Conference would be good.
All right.
So you have 5 starters, 2, 4, 6, 7 bench players. So you have 12 players as it is aside. You want to start with the East? LeBron, 1.
Dwayne Wade.
2.
Shaquille O'Neal.
3. You're missing 2 starters. D. Wade and Shaq were both starters with LeBron.
Okay, so I'm missing 2 starters. Allen Iverson.
Good, nice. Yes, he was a starter. One more.
See, I'm like coming up with names, and a lot of them are the West. Who was good? Is it a Pistons guy?
No, there were a lot of Pistons guys on the bench, though.
Okay.
You want to do the bench? You can come back if you want.
Yeah, sure.
So there were four Pistons on the bench.
Oh, I don't know if I'll be able to get all of them.
Oh, you got them. Oh, you trust me, you got them.
Wallace,
Which one?
Ben.
And
Oh God, what was the other one's name?
I'll give it to you, Rasheed Wallace. So
Okay.
they both made it. Ben and Rasheed Wallace. There's 2 more Pistons that were
Man,
on the
who's
bench.
a starter? Oh, that's gonna piss me off. Oh, Paul Pierce,
No, Paul Pierce was on the bench.
Kevin Garnett.
No. Garnett, not there.
Oh, he's probably in the Timberwolves.
Yeah, he was.
Oh, jeez, man.
All right, I'll give you a hint. The other starter you're missing.
Deron Williams.
No, good pull, though. All right, here's your hint. What team do you think of when you think of Deron Williams?
The Nets.
Okay, this guy was on the Nets, but when you think of this player, there's in no world that you ever think of him on the Nets. He spent the majority of his career with another team. You know that thing where they always put the logo up and it's like, what's the first player that you think of this?
Yeah.
For this team with their old school logo, which is one of the best old school logos in all the sports.
Joe Johnson.
No.
I think of like Andre Karolinko.
No, that's a good one. No.
So he played for the Nets, but that wasn't his main.
That was
team.
not his team. Not at all his team. If I give you the team, you're going to get it.
Really? Yeah. Why can't?
I told you to go north.
North.
Go way north. As
Tracy
north as you,
McGrady?
No, as north as Orlando? No. Talking about the city for this team.
Going talking about the Raptors?
Yeah.
Who played for? Oh, Vince Carter.
Vince Carter.
Oh man.
Wasn't that old school Raptors logo the best?
That
And
was
you
pretty
always
sick.
think of Vince Carter?
That was pretty sick.
So there you go. Vince Carter, Wade, LeBron, Iverson, O'Neal, your starters. So to the bench, you got Ben and Rasheed Wallace. You got Paul Pierce. There's 2 more There's 2 more Pistons, a Raptor, and a Wizard.
A Wizard. That was before John Wall.
It was. But before John Wall, they had another really good point guard.
Man, I don't know.
Gilbert Arenas.
Gilbert Arenas. Wow. Agent Zero.
The 2 other Detroit players,
I don't think I'm gonna get those.
Chauncey Billups and Rip Hamilton.
Okay.
The final player was another Raptor.
I don't know.
He fit the Raptors really well. Because he looks like a Raptor.
Oh, Chris Bosh.
Chris Bosh
I was gonna
is
say
correct.
that, but then I was like,
Chris
I didn't know if
Bosh
he
is
was that
correct.
early. The West, I think I could do better.
LeBron got the MVP, by the way, with 29 points, 6 rebounds, including 4 made threes. All right, let's go to the West now. Okay, so starters, this is the 2006 All-Star Game. Happened this day in 2006. LeBron was named the MVP. East is done. Let's see how you do on the West.
Okay, well, Kobe Bryant,
Correct, starter.
Pog Gasol.
Not a starter, but on the team, yes.
Okay. Carmelo Anthony.
No.
Really?
Did not even make it. No.
Really?
No.
Wow. That's surprising.
Yeah.
Okay. So is there any more Lakers then? I assume.
No more Lakers. No.
Tim Duncan.
Tim Duncan was the starter.
Tony Parker in there.
Tony Parker was the reserve.
I can't imagine Manu made it.
No. Still missing 3 starters.
Penny Hardaway.
No. No.
Is there any Supersonics players?
Yes, there was one. On the bench.
So that was, I think Kevin Durant was drafted, what, 07, 08?
It was not Durant.
Man. Maybe I'm not
Legacy Sonic.
Legacy sign?
Legacy Sonic. And he's one of the greatest shooters in NBA history.
Reggie Miller?
Ray Allen.
Ray Allen.
Ray
Oh,
Allen was
okay.
on the bench.
Okay. Oh, God, maybe I can name as many. It's like if I had a list of teams, I can like drawing blanks on the teams. Amari Stoudemire?
No, good guess, though. There was another Phoenix Sun.
Nash?
Steve Nash was a starter, and there was one Phoenix Sun off the bench that you'll never get in a million years.
You don't think so?
Sean Marion.
Oh, yeah.
You would not have gotten that. There were two other starters for the West. They both played for Houston.
Oh, God. Oh, Tracy McGrady?
Tracy McGrady, yes. Well done. And
Yao Ming?
Yao Ming is correct. So your starters were Nash, McGrady, Kobe, Duncan, and Ming. On the reserves, you got Tony Parker, you got Ray Allen, I gave you Sean Marion. You already mentioned Kevin Garnett, Pau Gasol. There's only two more. Dallas?
Jason Kidd?
No.
Oh, Dirk.
Dirk.
Duh.
And you would never get this one for the LA Clippers, I think, in a million years.
LA Clippers?
The LA Clippers bench player, he scored 12 points in 16 minutes in a 2006 All-Star game from the Clippers.
From the Clippers. Jamal Crawford?
Elton Brand. Elton Brand was the All-Star game this day, 2006. This day, 1881, Kansas became the first state to outlaw alcohol prohibition. Very happy birthday goes out to NFL Commissioner, I guess we wanted to, Roger Goodell, Nikola Jokic, Lee Marvin, Millie Bobby Brown, Seal. I always think of Superman. Who are you, Seal? Smokey Robinson, Joey Diaz, and a very special one, my youngest brother Michael, celebrating a birthday today. Love you very much, bro. Enjoy your day. All right, Ryan. 4 for you in the movies and television category. Number 1, a movie that came out this day, 2010. My initial hint is you can never watch this movie the same after you saw it once.
Damn, so I don't know if this is right, but if it is, that's crazy, because before you even gave me a hint, I was going to say Inception.
No, but
Okay.
it's very
Shutter
eerily-
Island?
Shutter Island is correct. One spoiler alert, once you know who Andrew Latis actually is, you never watch the movie the same
I love
again.
going back and watching movies like that, though,
Oh,
and then
I
picking up on
love
what
it.
you didn't pick up on
Right,
the first time.
it's so good.
Another one like that is Memento. I don't know if you've seen it.
I
but-
haven't.
Very good.
Well, because then they go, well, you're having headaches because you're not taking the medication,
Yeah.
the cigarette, like all that stuff that they did. I love Shutter Island.
Yeah.
Great
Mark Ruffalo.
flick.
I'm a big Mark Ruffalo guy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. This day, 2010. All right, next up, a film that came out this day, 1999. Maybe a little layup here. Did you get your TPS reports done?
Did you get your TPS reports done?
Maybe not a layup. Uh-oh.
Office Space?
Office Space is
Oh, is that
correct.
right?
Yes.
I've never seen it. I just kind of guessed based
Really?
on the language.
Office Space. Good flick. It's like a lot of movies that if you work in an office, it's like Waiting. If you ever see the movie Waiting and you ever worked in a restaurant, there's a level of funniness that you get because you worked in a restaurant. My first job was in a restaurant. So there's things about Waiting that I find funny because I worked in it. You now work in an office setting or even just in corporate America, there are funnier things about Office Space that you'll never see. So that's correct. Also, this day, 1999, another film. This is one I don't know if you'll get or not. It was based on a true story and a movie that I think we all watched in school because it had a lot to do with space. And it had a young Mysterio in it. So do you know who played Mysterio?
No, I know who played Mysterio. I'm just thinking, I don't think that was 1999. That wasn't Donnie Darko.
No, good guess, though. No, good guess.
Obviously, you're talking about Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yes. I think Donnie Darko was like 01.
Yeah.
But this is a young Jake Gyllenhaal.
And it's a movie about space?
Yeah. I don't know if you watched it in school or not.
All I know is like the 2001 A Space Odyssey or
No.
whatever that is.
Have you ever heard of the movie October Sky?
No.
Okay, October Sky. We had to watch it in school. I see it on TV from time to time. It's a story about a young man who Jake Gyllenhaal plays in his group of friends where they're in this town, Colwood. And really, the whole premise is that back in that time, all you did was go to high school and go to the coal mine. You were going to die in the coal mine. You were going to die from black lung disease, but all you did was go to the coal mine. And he and his friends became literally rocket scientists, and they somehow got out of that, and they all made it to NASA. Homer Hickam and his friends. So that was October Sky's Day 1999. All right, final one. This day, 1968.
This is a TV show, right?
Television show. A very long-running television show. And it all starts with a guy putting on a sweater. Every episode started with a guy putting on a sweater.
The Cosby Show?
No, good guess, though. It's a pretty interesting guess, though. No.
Putting
This
on a
guy,
sweater.
we all know what Bill Cosby is now. The star of this show, when I tell you, is on the polar extreme opposite.
Oh, Mr. Rogers'
Mr.
Neighborhood?
Rogers' Neighborhood is correct. You always walk in, open up the closet, put on his little,
Makes sense now.
sweater and sit down. Do you know why he had to wear long sleeves? He had a bunch of tattoos
I was
from the
gonna say,
Navy.
it's probably like, yeah.
He had a bunch of tattoos from being in the Navy. Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. This day, 1968. So there it is with Time Up. Great
All right,
stuff on
Matt,
it.
now I need you to please tell me, what is your opinion on a LeBron farewell tour?
Oh, of course, we're running out of time. I'll have to do it tomorrow. Okay, so LeBron said he doesn't want to do it because he doesn't like all the fanfare and all the things, and he'd rather kind of do the Tim Duncan where he just comes out and he says, I'm done. Here's my take. LeBron James is a grown man. He's very successful. He's very powerful. He doesn't need somebody like me telling him what to do. So this is not me telling LeBron what to do. LeBron, you need to do it. You need to do it. Because there's a group of people out there, not in Cleveland. We are so blessed that he played here. I've seen LeBron play a lot of times. I told the story when I almost ran right into him. I was texting on my phone, covering the game. He opened a double door, and I almost hit him straight in the chest. Okay, I've seen LeBron. I'm lucky to do that. There is a group of people out there in other cities, maybe with youngsters, or even kids that are teenagers that never got the chance to see him. You feel like we're entering this time where I would put the APB out to people. If you haven't seen him yet, go over the net, go to this season, go to next season. And I know when he announces it, that tickets will go through the roof and all. I think he needs to do it. And the issue is, you don't know how that plays out because there becomes inherent pressure. If he comes out before next season and says, this is it, then you feel like he's got to play every game. He can't sit out with ankle problems, especially on the road. So there becomes inherent pressure on him. And it's not that he owes anybody anything, but I think for his legacy, for what he has meant to basketball, for where he stands on the all-time list, he needs to do a farewell tour. And it'll get sappy, and it'll get sad maybe when he sits there and before the game up in Toronto, and they hand him a bowl of poutine, I guess. I don't know. They're like, here's your gift, right? And he goes to Detroit, and they give him a car maybe. I don't know, whatever. And when he comes to Cleveland, it'll be emotional. It'll be a little sad. And they'll do a little pregame thing. And I know LeBron would hate that. It'd be death by 1,000 cuts of every one of these games that have to do. But I think he has to do that. I do. And how they navigate that with injuries, with all that, I think it's tough. But I feel pretty confident in saying I think LeBron is going to do it. I think he has to do it. Let's talk about that more tomorrow on the show on a Tuesday edition. We got a 2 for Tuesday. I already kind of know. Do you want LeBron to do a farewell tour? Yes or no? We'll vote on that tomorrow. Coming up today on Big Play, I know Reflux, fresh off the slopes. He'll be back for the Big Play Cleveland show tonight. So be tuned in for that. We got Blake and Greg Williams with Come Get Some as well. Do we have hand for tonight as well?
I believe he's wrapped up.
I think he's done, but also, I don't want to spoil anything. We might have some people heading out to spring training soon. So we got some baseball that's coming right around the.
So Gab's actually in Arizona now.
I didn't know I want to say anything. Gab's going to Arizona.
She's gonna be on the show with us.
Oh, she
from
is going to do.
Arizona.
Okay, perfect. So there you go. So tonight, follow Big Play on Twitter, Facebook, and of course on YouTube for all of our coverage on that. Keep it locked in. We'll be back for a Tuesday edition of the show, 9 a.m. tomorrow, right here. Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and streaming on Twitch as well. We always appreciate your support right here on the show. Appreciate it. Monday in the books. Enjoy your President's Day. For Ryan Tyler, I'm Matt Fontana. As always, take it easy.